What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Matt Burrill, here to tell you guys about my friends from Big Friendly Productions. Now, they specialize in creating merchandise for bands, artists, and even lifestyle brands. With their in-house equipment, they can provide shirts, branded hats, and more, as well as some graphic design services. They offer order fulfillment to handle your online orders and ship your merch straight to your fans from their shop down in good old Birmingham, Alabama, baby. Now, whether you are getting your first shirt, you're just starting out, or you're going on a 40-show run, hit them up for all your merchandising needs. Check out their website, bigfriendlyproductions.com, or shoot them an email, merchandising@bigfriendlyproductions.com. Now, we're going to get into the episode. This is Outside the Round with Matt Burrill. Also, make sure you guys like, rate, subscribe, tell your mama and them. And for more details and to get in touch with the rest of the familia, visit rowdy.com. Now, let's get into it. Outside the Round with me, Matt Burrill, a Raise Rowdy podcast.
Come on.
This is Outside the Round with Matt Burrill, a Raise Rowdy podcast.
Yeah.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Outside the Round. Today we have got a very special episode with arguably one of the biggest Raise Rowdy supporters that we have seen in the last year. He's from the Great White North up in Canada, and he has been crushing it. Just got finished doing some shows with Mr. Tyler Hubbard, and just been killing it. Become one of my favorite guys to listen to. We've got our boy Owen Riegling with us.
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me here.
Brother, I mean, when I saw that you were coming to town, I was like, we got to have Owen on a damn podcast. You've been coming to town, you said, a lot more this year, right?
Yeah, I've been down here 7 or 8 times this year, which is a lot for me. It's the most travel I've done ever in my whole life, so it's been cool to come down here and meet folks like you. And yeah, I think definitely in Canada, I got to be like one of the biggest Raise Rowdy supporters for sure.
Dude, yeah. Well, it was funny. We so we're tight with a lot of Canadian artists, and we're doing an event next week with or actually, when this comes out, a few days after this episode will be coming out, we're doing an event with Country Liberty, the big brand out of there with Sawyer and all those guys. We're doing an all-Canadian event. And we were talking with Josh Ross about it, and we were saying, like, yeah, our boy Owen's been wearing that hat. He's like, man, I had to stop wearing that hat so much because freaking Owen's wearing it all the time.
Sorry, Josh,
No,
man.
I love it.
This is my favorite hat.
Bro, dude, we love it, man. And so you said you've been coming down here a lot this year. When was your first time coming down to Nashville? Probably a few years back?
Yeah, my first trip to Nashville was just a trip with my girlfriend and a bunch of her friends and one of my buddies. We just came down. We went to Broadway. She had turned 21. It was for her birthday. And we started just, hitting Broadway and just drank way too much. And it was like a really eye-opening experience just seeing that. I knew it was going to be sweet, but I didn't know what to expect. This was, probably 4 years ago now. And ever since then, I've just wanted to come down more and more. And I've made that happen, which has been awesome. And I think we're planning on maybe moving down here at some point.
Bro, let's go.
Yeah, we're going to make it happen.
That's awesome. So it's funny you say 4 years ago, because 4 years ago for me, so I just celebrated being down here for 5 years. So I moved down here.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I moved down here October of 2018. And from October 2018 through like September of 2019, I was a bouncer on Broadway.
Is that right? Where what bar?
Dierks Bentley's Whiskey Row, where
sweet.
we did where Whiskey Jam is now.
Yeah.
Which you crushed it the other night, bro.
Thank you, man. That was so fun.
So cool to see you and the rest of the team out there. But yeah, I was the guy checking IDs as folks were coming in.
You may have checked our IDs.
That's what
then.
I'm saying.
You probably did.
That's what I'm saying.
We
dude.
definitely went to that bar. So
yeah, dude. I mean, because
I think we went to all of the bars. So I'm sure we saw you.
Yeah, and there's so many Canadian folks that come down here.
So many.
Like I remember knowing the tricks for what a fake Ontario ID would look like.
What are the
blue
tricks?
Ontario ID. It's like the size of the lettering, and then I believe
if you have like a Manitoba ID, I mean, as an Ontario person, like. There used to be like Manitoba IDs floating around the bars. I went to school in London, Ontario, and like it was so obvious when it was a fake, but like you just slip the bouncer 20, they usually let you in.
Yeah, there's bars like that in Nashville, but like we used to collect fake IDs.
That's cool.
So I had a book like because there were like little trophies for us.
Yeah,
like you'd see a North Carolina ID and you're like, this looks like a Pokemon card. Like it's just so fucking off.
So
and crazy.
bad.
But yeah, dude, that's awesome that you've had your first experience coming down here then. And were you doing music at that point? Or?
I was. Yep. I've been playing in bars in Canada and just, I got my first guitar when I was 10, and I started writing songs shortly after, really bad songs. And I started writing songs seriously at the age of probably like 16. And just, I was like, I want to do this. And I just started chasing that, and I played a bunch of bar gigs, and that's kind of what my thing was, just every Thursday, Friday, Saturday night playing wherever around where I grew up in Mile Bay, Ontario, and surrounding little towns and fairs and all that stuff. So I definitely had the dream of being a country artist when I came down for the first time, and then seeing like all these amazing musicians and writers and just meeting all kinds of cool people really inspired me to, want to make it even more of a thing and just take it more seriously.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd say that was like the spark I needed at that time to just, keep pushing forward and doing it.
Yeah, so growing up, what kind of country music is coming out? Like, because I know Canadian country radio does such a good job of supporting guys and girls like yourself that are your fellow countrymen that are Canadians, like making sure that there are Canadian artists on Canadian country radio. But also at that time, you're coming up. So you're born, what, 99, 98?
98.
You're born 98.
Yep.
So you're a kid, like you're 7 when Jason Aldean's first record comes out.
Yeah.
And when like Luke Bryan and
Yeah.
so you got a taste of all that stuff as well. Like you got plenty of a taste of like the American country and the Canadian country, right?
100%. Yeah. I mean, I always say this, but it's true. Eric Church is one of my biggest sort of inspirations and the biggest reason I wanted to start writing country songs specifically. And the song Springsteen, which is obviously the big one.
Yeah.
I was on a trip to Maine with my family back in, I think it was 2011 or whatever that was, whenever that was on the radio at the time. And I just remember that song just sticking in my head, and it was just, it made me feel like, even though I wasn't old enough to feel the things he was singing about, I felt like I had lived it. And I just remember that being a very sort of pivotal moment for me. And I tried to write songs like that, and I still try to write songs like that because that's the stuff that it really makes me feel something. And that was a cool memory for me.
Yeah. Have you been to an Eric Church show?
Yeah, I've been to several. I've been to like every show he's had in Canada, I feel
Really?
like. Yeah, I don't know. I've been to a bunch.
Because his show, and it's evolved over the years.
Yeah.
Like my first time seeing him was in 2017. It was when he was doing the 61 day. Like he put out that compilation, that 61 days in church, where he had no opener, and every night was different, and the shows were like 2.5, 3 hours.
Is that the
long.
Hold My Own tour?
I
think it was.
Yes.
I went to that tour as well. I went to 2 nights. I saw it in London, Ontario. I was in college at the time, and then we went and saw it in Toronto the next night. So yeah, it was just so sick.
Yeah, dude,
So
and
sick.
he's a guy that's evolved over time, but it's still like, and whether it's off the Chief record or it's off his most recent projects, like you still know it's a fucking Eric Church.
Have you
song.
seen his recent show?
Yes,
I saw it a couple months ago at Bud Stage in Toronto, and there's like 20 people on stage, and it's just it's crazy.
Yeah, he flies the big flag behind.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yep, yeah.
It was so badass.
Yeah, I saw him up in Cincinnati.
Nice
on this tour.
It's almost in Canada.
Yeah,
You're getting
Ohio.
there.
Yeah, we're working our way up,
Yeah.
and it was Church, and then Travis Tritt, and
Nice.
the Muscadine Bloodline guys, which was
Hell
a full
yeah.
circle moment for Nick and I going up to Ohio to see them, which was cool.
That's awesome.
You said you went to Maine, so a lot of
did.
Canadians go to Maine for
Yeah.
vacation and shit. My dad's actually from Maine.
Is that
so
right?
I grew up going up there all the time, like every summer.
It's a sweet spot.
Yeah, I grew up going up. My dad grew up in Westbrook, which is just outside of Portland, so like down east section.
Yeah.
I had been to Bahaba and been up north, which I know is where a lot of folks go to. But like Canada is such a country area, especially like a town where you're from.
There's
where,
nothing
where
around.
it is that small town, and you do such a good job of telling the story of your hometown in your music. Like
Thank you, man.
I've never been out of the States. I've been to plenty of small towns in America, but you paint that picture of what it was like growing up in a small town with wheat fields and all that stuff,
100%. That's, I mean, the main, I feel like, theme in my music is just writing about where I'm from. It's like the only thing I really know, so I feel like it's all I have to write about at this point. I mean, I'm from a small town. I've still lived there. I haven't really moved out. And when I wrote, I mean, the song right now that people are gravitating towards is called Old Dirt Roads, and
so fucking good.
it's just a song that I wrote when I was in college in my dorm.
Oh, that was an early write.
Yeah, I wrote that song was written in like 2018 or 2019.
Wow.
Yeah, I wrote it, and I had actually put it out before. Like, it was out for 2.5 years, and I just recorded it, produced it in my bedroom, and I put it out. It sounded like crap, and when I signed with Universal, they're like, "That's the song. We're gonna redo it and just kind of give it a new feel and a new life. And then, yeah, I guess, it found its home. So I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, dude, you've got over 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify, which I know a lot of artists are like, yeah, I don't like to look at what my following's at and this, like it stresses. Yeah, like I get like that with the Raise Rowdy shit too, like looking at our socials and our engagement and stuff. But bro, like from when I first met you, like earlier this year to now,
Crazy.
it just seems like the past 4, 5, 6 months have just been like a boom. What has that all been like?
It has been wild, and I'm very thankful for what has happened this year. We just started recording music in April, and we put our first song out in June, and now it's November, and I feel like the last 4 months has just been crazy, and it's been happening faster than I ever could have dreamed of it happening. And it can change in a flash too, just as much. I just gotta keep doing what I'm doing, but it's been wild. I mean, getting to go on tour with Tyler, and we got a bunch of exciting, fun stuff coming up that I'm very excited about. I think 2024 is going to be an amazing year, and I don't know. It's just mind-blowing, very surreal at times, and hard to wrap my head around.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So what are you touring around in as far as the vehicle right now?
Well, for this last tour, we just we had to fly because it was a Canadian tour, so Canada's.
So you were out west.
Oh yeah, like you can't. I mean, we don't have a bus, so we're not driving out there. We don't have a driver, so we flew to Calgary and just kind of rented vans and went from there and did a bit of driving to Edmonton and then kind of just hopped on little planes and flew from, Calgary to Winnipeg and Saskatoon and all these places. So, a lot of flying. And then in Ontario, it's a little easier because we're all from there, so we have vehicles and we just made it work, Doing the whole vehicle and van thing, it's fun, man. It's a great time to bond with the boys in the band. And yeah, so much fun.
Yeah, how many guys do you have like what does the touring crew look like? Of how many guys?
Our crew is pretty small. I got me, Benny, Brad, Matt, Mark, and then tour manager Josh, who does front of house, tour managing, merch. He's like holding it down for us all, and he's just the man. Josh is amazing.
That is so important to have because I've done that. I've been the Swiss Army knife before. I've never been a sound guy, but the tour manager, merch, driver combo. Yeah, that's like that's like been my bread and butter when I've been out on the road. So shout out to Josh because I'm sure he'll be watching.
Shout out Josh.
And how long have you known all those guys? Like, what was the process of putting that team and that band together?
Some of them are, Josh is relatively new. He just kind of came on board this year because we didn't really have a need for a tour manager at the time. We were just, making it work. But I've known Ben for 5 years and same with Brad. They were my very first band that I ever had. So it's cool to have them out and, we're really good friends. And the other guys are newer as well in the last 2 years. So they're great guys. We all get along and it's just so much fun.
That's freaking awesome, dude.
Yeah, man.
And it's a goal of mine to get up to Canada, especially being from New York. People are like, "Wait, you haven't been out of the country? You haven't even been to fucking Canada?"
I can't believe you've never been to Canada.
Because especially like with family in Maine. It's not far. Like I've seen the signs where it turns into kilometers, where you see how far away Montreal and Toronto are in kilometers when you cross over.
You gotta
the Maine
go,
border.
man. If you ever come up to Canada, let me know and come out to our place.
Yeah, where's the place? Oh, I appreciate that. Where's the first place in Canada I need to check out? Because Chief told me when I know you watched that episode with little Kevin's art. Shout out to Chief. With like Vancouver and Toronto are like the two, and Montreal's cool too. But I know like they talk about it in Letterkenny. The D-gens that go fishing in Quebec. Everybody goes fishing in Quebec. The D-gens from up country.
Yes,
where's the spot that I got to go to my first trip?
It's tough to say. It depends what you're looking for, but I love going out to Calgary and going to the mountains and Banff and like Jasper and those things. Like if you like hiking, I don't know if you like to do that kind of stuff, but it's beautiful out there, and we try to get out there as much as we can. My now fiance and I, we just got engaged, which is wild.
Yeah, how's that going? Has that sunk in yet?
Yeah, because we've been dating for so long. Like we've been together for like almost 7 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's about time I probably asked the question. I think she was getting a little antsy. Shout out Liv. But yeah, it's great, man. I'm very excited.
Yeah, how'd you pop the question?
I took her on a hike, and then we had our dog with us. I was so nervous.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, and then I just, got down on one knee in front of this little creek and made it happen. She had no idea. She was wearing a toque, and she had her hood up. She was, like, bundled up because it's so cold in Canada. And, so funny. But it was hilarious. And then we had her family come over, and we had a little party that night, and it was a great time.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so fun.
That's cool. And how old are you? You're what, 25?
25.
So you're 25 now. You've got a record deal. You've
Yeah.
gotten to go touring with the major artists like Tyler Hubbard. You've got a bunch of opportunities coming your way. People are listening to your music all over the fucking world. You're doing pretty good for where you're at age-wise in your life, bro. Like,
Crazy, man. Yeah, I've always, dreamed of being in a position like this. So to say, like, it's happening, it's just mind-blowing. And I'm just trying not to think about it too much because I don't know what I'm doing, man. I have no idea. I'm just, taking it day by day. And fortunate enough to have an amazing team around me at Universal and my management team. And everybody's just super nice people. And, yeah, we work together to just, take the steps we need to. Honestly, I have no idea how I got here. I don't know how I got here. Yeah, just so much fun.
Well, when did you feel like shit was starting to change? Was it when Universal came in the picture and you were on a show or a competition up in Canada?
Yes,
correct?
yeah. So that was sort of like I said, I was doing the bar stuff for years and years, and I submitted a video for, it's called the Boots and Hearts Emerging Artist Showcase.
Oh, the big festival.
It's Boots and Hearts, yeah,
Yes.
which is the biggest festival in Canada.
That'll probably be my first trip to Canada. 'Cause
Yes.
we're festival
You
guys.
gotta go to Boots and Hearts.
Nikki and I go to a lot of festivals here in the States, so I feel like our first time going to Canada has to be a road trip to Boots and Hearts.
You have to. It's the best, man. It's I owe a lot to Boots and Hearts. I was going there for years prior to entering in the contest, just going and watching music and having a great time. It's just such a well-run festival, and the people who run it are amazing. But that was the spark that kind of set me on my way to getting connected with Universal, because they were partnered up for that showcase, and lots of artists who have gone on to be somebody in Canada have won that contest, like Jade Eagleson.
Yes,
and the Barker Boys, and there's lots of great music that has come out of that contest. So to be on that stage and just get a chance to compete for that, it was surreal, and then to actually win it was even more crazy, and just feel like every week since that has just been something new. So that was sort of the thing that started it all.
Dude, that's what's really cool to me is that you're a lot like us with Raise Rowdy. Like, how old were you when you went to your first concert? Do you remember?
Yep, I went to CMT Fest in Kitchener, Ontario. I don't know how old I was. It was probably like 8 or 9 years ago, maybe.
So like you've been going, but you would just go.
But I've been to many shows before that. But that was like,
that's what I mean. Like your first going to shows, like your
Yeah.
first live music show. Like, because I remember I was 8 years old when I went to mine, and then it was
Yeah.
just concerts became a part of my life, like just loving music. And you seem to be that way too.
oh, I go to I've been to so many shows this year. It's been wild. But yeah, I mean, festivals are a great way to see all your favorite bands in one
Yeah.
spot. But yeah, I've been going to music for a long time.
Do you remember your first concert? You remember who you saw?
Well, I guess I classify my first concert as that when I was going to see like a big band. I'd been to many like little kind of local things, but never like saw like a big band. I was supposed to go see Eric Church, but then it got rained out, and he ended up not, being able to put on the show. But I saw Brothers Osborne that day. Then we ended up getting tickets to see Zach Brown Band the next night. So that was sort of my first like big.
Yeah. My first was Tim McGraw.
Hell yeah.
When he was doing like the Hold My Own tour style.
Yeah.
It was pre-sobriety Tim McGraw. You had the Fu Manchu. Like it was pre like Live Like You Were Dying. Like when like Real Good Man and like that. It was almost like 2002, 2003. I was like 8 years old. I remember being in school the next day and just being so tired. my mom and my aunts took me to that shit.
That's so cool.
And it's just, there's something about going in like the concert culture.
Yeah, man.
And now to be on the other side of it and be the guy on the fucking stage and seeing what goes into all that stuff has to be pretty fucking wild too.
It's wild. Like going to concerts as a kid, I just remember feeling the kick drum was like this thing. It was like the thud you get is like, that's the thing that stuck with me. And that's the thing where it made me, want to do it. Like just that feeling and the energy at a show is just, it's crazy. But yeah, being on stage it's great, man. It's cool. It's something that I've always wanted to do. And yeah, it's just so cool to connect with fans and see people singing along. And, yeah, so it's awesome.
What are the Canadian bars like? Because I've gotten to know the southeastern bars because that's how Trey and Musk and I and the guys that I'm connected to came up. And so many artists, particularly in country music, come up because there is that tie to like the blue collar culture, the small town culture. What's a Canadian bar gig like? Because I'm sure you got horror stories. I'm sure you got great experiences.
Yeah,
that's
man.
part of the grind to get to where
100%.
you're at. The 100,000 hours, the 4-hour shifts with no breaks on a Thursday, a Friday, and some shithole bar somewhere.
Yeah. So I started off doing a lot of acoustic stuff because I didn't have a band when I first started, and I would just go and bring my own PA system because a lot of them aren't equipped with like stages or whatever. So I would just bring it in and set it up and just play songs on my acoustic guitar for 4 hours. There's a local bar a mile away called Harley's, and I played there so many times, and they're like family to me there. They've, been so supportive from the very start. Like one of my very first solo acoustic gigs was there. And then I worked my way up. There was always these bars that I looked up to playing in the city, because I'm from a small town, which is 2 hours from any city. So kind of cut my teeth around my area and started to get a little bit of a following. And then I wanted to play the Stampede Ranch in Guelph for so long, which is this honky tonk, just like a college bar basically. But they got a stage, they got sound, it's a full band thing. And I was like, if I get to play there someday, that means I've made it, And then I got the call to play there one day, and I was like, crazy. And that's like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday thing, 4 hours every night, playing cover songs and just keeping people on the dance floor. And that's how I sort of cut my teeth with a band and in front of people and, trying to keep people entertained and stuff like that. But yeah, I would say it's very similar, that bar, to the bars around here. But the other stuff that I was playing was like hole in the wall, not really known for live music, but like people show up to eat dinner and there's a guy playing guitar in the corner and they're like sick,
Yeah.
So
and you hope that they like country music, or if not, you're playing. What would you do that wasn't like country in your covers? I would imagine you doing like classic rock shit, right?
Yeah, like I mean,
like
some of my favorite songs, like Champagne Supernova by Oasis, like that's the type of stuff. I mean, you got to throw Wonderwall in there, there was, I'm trying to think. I'm drawing a blank on what I used to play. I have Ultimate Guitar on my phone with
everybody has that, dude.
Hundreds of songs that I would just sift through and like try to keep it interesting and play different stuff every night and just have fun with it.
Yeah. What was COVID up there like?
COVID was...
But you were also in a small town.
Yeah. So in my town, like it didn't really change that much as far as what people were doing.
That's how it was here. Like regionally in America, it was kind of like that too. Yeah.
It was a tough time. It just sucked not being able to play shows, and I wrote a lot of songs, which was nice. But it was boring for me, really. Like just wanting to play shows and not being able to sucked. But as far as I live on a farm out there, so it didn't really change as far as like living and not being able to go to the store or whatever. Yeah, it was all right.
What is farm life like? Because I've been around farms, but I'm from New York, so we don't have we don't I'm from like the suburbs of the city.
Right.
So what are you guys farming up there?
So we have 100 acres cash crop. We kind of rotate between soybeans, winter wheat, and corn. And when we take the wheat off, I used to rip my dirt bikes and four-wheelers through the field. I had a little dirt bike track in our backyard, and it was just so fun growing up there and having all the space to just hang out. And we used to have we have a bush still, and we used to build like bike jumps in the back, and it was just a sweet spot to grow up.
You guys love your motorsports stuff in Canada, because I've heard other guys say that before too. Like I remember Josh saying that he used to Josh, motocross is like a big thing too.
Yeah, I never raced. I wanted to,
but you would just fuck around in like the backyard kind of thing, which to me is even more fun, because then you don't gotta fucking go anywhere.
It was so fun. I wanted to race so bad growing up. My dad never let me, and I thank him for that now. But at the time, I was like, come on, like I want to so bad. I used to I would have my buddies all over, and like I said, I had a track. We would line it up like we're like, racing, and it was so much fun, like looking back on that stuff. But I never actually raced, but it was good.
Yeah, see, I've never done the motorcycle thing.
No?
I've never done
Never ridden a dirt bike or anything like that?
No, I've done my buddy Mitch, he's a big Facebook Marketplace guy, and he just buys random shit. Yep. So he got this little like very small it wasn't even a 4-wheeler, it was like a 3-wheeler kind of thing. Yeah. We used to do donuts at Trey's house with it. Yeah. And so that was my like one time going on something like that. But I've never done. I mean, I've been to some of like the different things. We'll do them at the arena down here in Nashville. But like I've never been on one. But it seems like the culture of that's just wild.
It is. I'm sort of out of the loop now, but I used to go to races all the time, and it was so much fun growing up, getting to do that. Luckily, I didn't hurt myself, which is something that most people do.
Yes,
most people break a lot of bones doing that stuff, and I didn't see it at the time, but I probably would have ended up, hurting myself if I would have kept going with it. So thankfully, I sold the bike.
Yeah, were you into other sports and shit when you were?
I played hockey growing up.
Very Canadian of you to say. So, what's your team? Is it Toronto? Is it the Maple Leafs?
Yeah,
Is that your
I'm a
team
Leafs
that
guy.
you're a
I'm
Leafs
a Leafs
guy?
guy. Yeah, and I mean the Preds are pretty electric too. Getting to go to a game down here it's awesome.
Bro,
live
people-
music.
You would not think that hockey would be huge down here.
It's a hockey town. It really is.
It is very much, and a lot of people don't know this, but like in the 90s is when Nashville got a football team and a hockey team. It happened around the same time, and it had to do. They opened the General Motors plant from Michigan. They moved a bunch of people from Michigan down to Nashville,
Right.
Because they opened the motor plants and stuff, and that was right around when the hockey team came in and the
Right.
football team. So I'm thinking they figured we're bringing all these northern people down. We got to give them
We gotta
something.
get hockey going.
And the electricity of a Predators game, people get really fucking into it.
It's so good. I've only been to one or two down here. We went to actually on the first trip that I took down here with my friends for Liv's birthday. We were trying to go to a Preds game, and we ended up just scalping some tickets out front because we went to the box and like there was a seat here and a seat here, but we couldn't all sit together. So like let's go find a bunch of seats together. We found somebody outside of the rink, and he's like, "I got you. You guys are gonna be all together. It's a great spot." We paid way too much for the tickets. We were drunk, and we're like, "Let's go." We get up there. He walks us in. We start looking for our seat, and it was like a standing room only thing at the very top, and like the whole thing was covered, so we couldn't, like, we just didn't have a spot. We were just chilling, drinking rum and cokes, and just trying to like poke our heads out and see what was going on. But I just remember the energy being crazy, and having like a live band at the game is cool, and intermission and stuff. Like it's sick. It's so Nashville.
And they throw a catfish on the ice here because, which
Yeah.
again is the tribute to being all the Michigan folks coming down with what
Yes,
the Red
sir.
Wings do.
Yes, sir.
Throwing the octopus out
Yeah.
there. So I mean, so you like hockey? You baseball? You into any of the other?
Not
sports
really,
that are up
not
there?
really. No, I mean, I don't really watch football or baseball or anything, but hockey's sort of just my thing.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, so you move down here, we'll get you to some Preds games.
I would love to
For sure.
go as much as possible, and even like I've never been to a football game.
Oh, bro.
I want to go so bad.
You got to go to a college football game, which is
Yeah.
tough in the world that we live in with touring. Because
Right.
Saturdays it's show day.
Yeah.
You're in XYZ city around the country or
Exactly.
up in Canada. But you got to go to a college football game.
I
in
wanna
the
go so
South.
bad.
Bro, it's fucking crazy. These people, like, they base their entire lives on 13 weeks in the fall. And
Yeah.
that is like, if Alabama loses more than like a game or two, people will be miserable for a year until the following season.
Man, I got to get into it.
It's crazy.
Tailgating seems great too.
Oh, dude, they're wild, man. They're crazy. Like, and it's different schools have like different things, you know, like my girlfriend's from South Carolina, and
Right.
she's a big South Carolina Gamecocks fan, which is funny. Their nickname is the Cocks. So I got a shirt on. You can buy shirts that just say Cocks across it. It's
I
like,
love
ha ha ha, yeah, because they're like roosters.
Yeah.
But they do tailgating. Their bougie style of tailgating. They have like train cars, like cabooses, and they
Yep.
call them cockabooses, and they deck them out. And you have like flat screen TVs on there, and it's people like partying on this train car.
That's hilarious.
And that's the tailgate. Or you go down to Ole Miss in Mississippi, and it's like the bougie tailgate, which you wouldn't expect for Mississippi.
Right.
But that's where like the old Southern money's at.
Yeah.
And they have these big tents, and they hang chandeliers up in their tents and eat with like fine china.
No
it's
way.
Like, dude, I'm just here to drink beer and eat hot dogs and
Damn.
fucking
Yeah.
like you're at like it's like a 5-star tailgate, and then you go down to Bama, it's just a shit show. Tennessee's just wild, like, and it's just there's such like a culture around it, and then there's music around it too, where there's so many guys that come up playing the frat parties in these college towns, just like I'm sure
Yeah.
you would go through doing college towns in Ontario.
Yep.
And there's guys that'll play the tailgates of the football games, like Trey Lewis used to do that all the time. I think the Southern Acts used to do that.
Yeah.
So it's just, you gotta go. It's a spectacle, and then
I gotta go.
And then the bars after the game, if it's a day game, fucking nuts, bro.
You got to be able to rally to do that, like to hit the tailgate.
Why I stay sober, bro.
Yeah,
I
and
just
then-
rip cigars. Like I'm a big
You
cigar
got to figure
guy.
it out. You got to figure it out. Like Yeah, starting at what time do they start when they start tailgating?
So
for a football game?
LSU is probably the earliest one. So LSU doesn't normally do day games. They just strictly do night games because their stadium, it holds over 100,000 people. They call it Death Valley. And they have like they've spent millions of dollars on sort of the tigers, and they have like live tigers, like a zoo, and they have them in like they built like this huge, and like it's like the size of like probably this whole street, and it's like outside the stadium where all these tigers are or whatever. But
That's insane.
they open the tailgates at like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and the game's at like 7 p.m.
So everybody's just hammered.
12 hours, and then they go into the game.
And then they hit the bars after.
Yeah.
That's hardcore.
Every Saturday.
That's crazy.
Every Saturday in the fall, it's what they fucking do.
I want to go there, sort of.
Yeah,
see the Tigers.
yeah. Baton Rouge is really cool. There's a cool club down there that's called the Texas Club, but it's in Louisiana. Don't know why that is, but there's some cool venues, and that's one thing I like about the scene that I've gotten to do is I've gotten to go. Being from New York, I could tell you where Alabama and Mississippi were on a map, but I've been there so much that I've gotten to experience the different cultures in the South, dude. And that's something that you're gonna get to do, like, because have you done much touring in the States yet, or has it been mostly Canada? So you've never done.
Tyler Hubbard was my first tour.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a hell of a first
yeah,
tour, bud.
man. I know, it's crazy.
But it was, the difference is, so people be like, oh, it's happening overnight kind of thing. But no, it's the difference between first tour and first show. There's some guys and girls where that touring opportunity is the first time they're getting on stage in front of a lot of people.
Right.
You've been playing gigs and seasoned. The bars do so much for coaching guys and girls up in shows. Like, you know how to play you've played shows to no one before.
Oh yeah, I've played hundreds and hundreds of shows. I don't know if you call them shows, but I've played for, so many different places and learned sort of, what goes into it behind the scenes as far as, how you make a show happen and stuff like that. So when we got to actually go and tour and do that, it felt new, but it also felt like I was at home, being on the stage. And I've played many festivals and stuff, and you kind of learn the whole, back end of what makes a show happen.
Yeah.
And that made it easier for sure. But yeah, my first tour across Canada with Tyler Hubbard, and that's crazy. I got to sing Cruise with him every night, which was wild.
And people don't know, if you listen to the program a lot, from the Chief episode we did, FGL has a lot of Canadian influence in it.
They do.
Those songs, Joey Moy and Chief, like that rock sound that came from Nickelback, that came from Default, that came from My Darkest Days, that came from all those Canadian rock bands in the 2000s when you and I were growing up. Is what that sound of the 2010s, 20-teens country came from.
Man. Totally.
So that's like to be a part of that, for that to be your first one, given the connection to Canada and all that stuff, like that's really fucking cool. But
crazy.
What I was saying is, like, you've done shows, you've done so many of like those bar gigs where you do the 4 hours. Maybe people are listening, maybe they're not. Now you're in clubs and theaters with a guy who's a legendary name in country music now for what he's done over the last decade.
Yep.
And people are there paying money to see a show that you're a part of.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to win anybody over. You don't have to worry about, are these people paying attention? Oh, how much time do I have left on this bar gig?
Yeah.
Like, bro, that's got to be the best fucking feeling. Because I remember when that happened for Trey, he was like, it's
so
surreal
cool.
because you put in so many hours of not making a ton of money and figuring out a way to keep living out your dream, and now to be at the level that you're at, bro. Like,
it's wild, man. It's always very cool when you go to play a show and people are facing you and not eating dinner, like in the corner.
Dude,
that's pretty damn cool. We had so much fun, and it was a cool experience to have. We had the same show night after night, and to get to start on night one and then just develop it and feel, by the end of the tour, we felt so tight and just, we knew, what was happening, and it was just a cool experience to get to do that, and I'm excited for many more to come.
Yeah, dude, do we have any word of when the first show stateside could be?
Not yet, man, but we're working on it.
Because I was gonna say, there's got to be agency interest, right?
Yeah.
Like, you got to have.
Yeah, we've had a couple meetings, and we're just still talking about it, and we're taking our time with it, and Yeah, I just don't want to rush anything, and I want to make sure that it's the right fit, and we have a good plan, and we can try to make something really happen down here, and that's obviously the goal. And
Yeah, your first show that you do that's under 6 hours away, if I don't have anything going, like 6 hour radius of Nashville,
Yeah.
I will fucking be there.
Let's go.
Let's
go.
I will drive out there. Like anything with me, I've driven
6 hours that's a hike though, man.
No, dude. I mean, I used to drive a van and trailer to fucking South Dakota.
True.
I did the tour manager
You're
thing for
used to
3
it.
years. Yeah, I've taken a van to Texas with
Damn.
8 other dudes in the van, and I'm the sober guy driving with my AirPods in while they're passing around a bottle of Fireball.
That's hilarious.
Like, dude, I've
That's
I'll do a drive to New York and I'll stop for fuel, but I'll just go 14 hours like nothing. I'm just a road dog. So I say that to say your first like show in the States, it's like a ticket like an Owen Riegling show. Like we will be there.
I'll be wearing my Raised Rowdy hat. So
Dude, fuck yeah,
yeah,
dude.
let's go.
And dude, we appreciate you wearing that shit so much. Like it goes a long way for us. And I came on Raised Rowdy in April. Like I'd always been kind of repping it.
Yeah.
But I came on as a co-owner in April with Nick. And the coolest part for us is finding artists that are on the rise up, like getting to know y'all at the ground level as you're starting your journey at this next step that you're on. Granted, your journey started years ago in Canada, but your journey of doing stuff here in the States and all that shit, and then getting to watch you guys grow and trying to grow our thing while you guys are all going.
100%. Raised Rowdy was my first. That was my first Nashville Raiders round, so I can always say that.
Yeah, have you done any other? I know you did Whiskey Jam the other night. That was your first Whiskey Jam, right?
Yep, first Whiskey Jam, and then a couple months ago, first Raiders round. And second Raiders round tonight.
Bro, which we're very excited about. Have you been to Live Oak before?
No.
So Live Oak's a cool bar, and what's cool about it is we've had some really cool like memories in there. I've been hosting rounds there. So it used to be a bar called Frisky Frogs, and you understand bar culture because of the scene you came up in and being down here. So Frisky Frogs is one of those bars. Demumbrian's wild. Demumbrian Street.
Yep.
Have you been on that street?
Yeah,
so,
I know where Live Oak is.
Okay.
I've been there.
So you have been to Live Oak. Okay, cool.
Like
so,
I've been outside of it.
Been outside. Okay, you've never been in. Okay, well, we'll welcome you in tonight. So you have like Tin Roof down there, Nashville Institution, wild bar. Like you have their stereotype of like the Tin Roof guys or the Tin Roof girls. It's just it's a wild time. It's like the party scene, and now that bar isn't as busy as it was because Barstool opened up downtown. Right. So it's like that college crowd. Doghouse used to be popping, not as popping anymore because the house bands changed or whatever. Live Oak used to be a bar called Frisky Frogs.
That's hilarious.
A place you could get in there. What you're talking about IDs before. You could literally get in there with a fucking deck of cards, like anything. You could use like the McLovin thing from Superbad. Like
that's hilarious.
And dude, they had a couch in front of the stage. People would sit. It was like a little love seat.
Yeah.
And kids would just be on there, fucking getting after it.
No
just
way.
Fucking drunk college kids, dude. It was crazy.
So, what happened to Frisky Frogs?
Well, Live Oak, the guys from Live Oak
they
came
just
in
took it over.
They bought it. Yeah, they bought it and
Rip.
opened in 2019. And we started doing events there. September of 2019 was when I started doing my rounds there on Tuesdays. And it's the best sounding of the bars in Midtown.
Nice.
The people that run it are fucking great. It actually has good food, believe it or
Does
not,
it?
which is cool. And then they do we do our butt rock night that we do like full band shit there. We do all kinds of stuff.
Cool.
So it's a cool bar. And for us, I mean, that was the spot we had Bailey play when he first moved to town. He wasn't even in town yet.
Man.
We had Bailey, we had Meg Maroney a bunch, we had Dylan Marlowe a bunch, it's a spot where we've gotten to see a lot of folks come up by doing rounds the last 4 years.
Yeah, that's so cool, man.
And tonight we have Ben Chase, which we're really excited about. I mean, I'm trying to remember, we got like a good lineup, like a good mix across the board of different people. Like we got a guy named Moose tonight. Moose Miller. His first name is literally fucking Moose, which
That's a sweet
and he
first
looks
name.
Yeah, and he looks like an old school like Revolutionary War, like Civil War general. Like he's got this mustache and the hair. We got Tyler King playing tonight.
Yeah, he's cool.
Have you met him?
I haven't met him, but he's amazing at singing and he's just he looks like a badass. He's great.
Yeah, I mean the fact he's Luke Combs' guitar player.
Yeah,
and
yeah. I mean, I've seen Luke a bunch of times.
Yeah,
so
live.
I guess
yeah.
I've seen him.
Yeah, so it'll be we're excited to fucking have you.
It's gonna be fun,
tonight.
man.
Yeah, where in town do you usually stay at when you come down here?
Right now, I'm staying with my buddy Jesse. He's got a place down here. He just moved from Peterborough, Ontario. He's got a place in Madison, so I stay with him.
Madison,
Yes.
Mattahood.
Yes, sir.
So
yes,
you
sir.
see some what part
He
of
lives in a
Madison?
great little neighborhood.
He's in the good neighborhood.
He's in a great
cool.
neighborhood. Yep.
Because Nashville's one of those cities, and I don't know how it is up in like Toronto or Montreal or some of the bigger cities up there in Canada, but you have like your good parts and you have your bad parts.
Yeah.
And like out here in Hermitage, for example, you've got like the Rusty Nail, and then those woods next to the Rusty Nail get a little sketchy. There's folks living in those woods.
Is there really?
There's about 300 people in those woods.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's like a whole community. It's
Yeah. Wow.
there's some crazy, like there's some crazy parts of Nashville. Like where I used to live.
I'm still learning what Nashville's all about, but yeah, it seems like it's a bunch of different little communities, like you said. It's all like different, but it's all cool, and everything has its own little vibe.
Have you been to East Nashville yet?
I don't think I have.
East Nashville is like Brooklyn, New York, where it's like
Really?
hipsters. Like you would not feel like you're in Nashville. It's
I'm gonna
like,
go there after this
bro,
because
it's
I
like-
got nothing going on this afternoon.
Dude, it's like artsy and like
Damn.
just like a different kind of vibe. Good like breweries, like craft breweries and
love
shit
that.
like that. We go over there and smoke cigars all the time.
Really?
That's like our cigar spots. That's where our buddy Kurt lives. So East is cool, but I used to live in Antioch, and it was like fireworks or gunshots every night. Like,
Really?
Like you'd ask yourself, was that a firework or was that
Oh
a
my
gunshot?
God.
Yeah, it was.
I've been down there before. We had a
Antioch.
rehearsal there the other day. But yeah, I feel like I'm slowly, in Grand Theft Auto, when you're like uncovering the map,
Yes,
you gotta like explore
yeah.
to figure it out. I'm starting to put the pieces together and understand how this city works. But it's such a great spot, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason 100 people a day are moving here right now.
Yeah, every Uber I get in is like, Nashville's not what it used to be. Like, it's growing so fast. Everybody tells me.
In the 5 years I've been here, the skyline's completely different.
Really?
The skyline's completely different
Things
in
are
5
just
years.
going up.
Dude, yeah, dude, and the traffic's just crazy.
Well,
Like,
I think I'm gonna add to that statistic.
You should, and
Yeah.
we want you down here. I'm totally cool. People say stop coming and like tell people to stop moving here. I'm like, no, keep moving here. Like, because what drives this city is guys and girls that are pursuing the music thing,
Right, yeah.
And it adds that creativity, and you have like your class almost of people that
Yeah.
move here. Like for me, I moved here in 2018, and I remember the guys that moved here around the same time as I did. Guys like Trey Lewis, Ella Langley, Dylan Marlowe, like people like in that where we all moved around the same time.
Yep.
And you look back on like you all kind of come up together because they're going out to the bars to meet people the same time that you are, and then naturally you hit it
just
off.
Yeah, that's how it works. I feel
and then
like.
you start fucking writing together, and then so and so gets a little bit further along quicker than so and then they bring them out to open. You
Yep.
know, like
Yep.
You're playing a show and you meet so and so at Red Door, and that becomes your homie and your big co-writer, and then you get an opportunity to go out and do a run of shows, and they let you bring an opener. You bring that guy or that girl. You
Yeah,
know?
man, that's how it happens. That's always how it happens. I feel like, you just got to be a good person and be able to just go have fun with people. And then eventually, like you said, you get into rooms and you start working your way up. And yeah, it's definitely it's like a community here in Nashville. I've noticed like everybody's sort of friendly with everybody, and it's just everybody's trying to lift each other up, which is great.
It's very, very welcoming. What is the Canadian country community? Is it like that?
It's
I feel
similar,
like
yeah.
Because I feel the difference is like Nashville is a city. Almost everybody in the community is in this city.
Yep.
Canada is a whole fucking
Exactly.
country. So you have your guys that are way out west. You have
Yep.
your guys and girls that are eastern, and then you have all that stuff in the middle.
Yeah, it's kind of, in a smaller version of what happens down here, I would say. I'm from Ontario, so there's like an Ontario scene. Ontario has its own like country music awards. BC has its own country music awards, and like I feel like it's hard to connect with people out west because it's like a full like 2-day drive away. So I don't really, I don't really know what's going on out there. But in Ontario, they have writers rounds, and there's lots of great artists that are coming up, and yeah, it's similar, just a way, way smaller scale. So
Yeah, and I feel like Canadian country is like now is the time for it.
Yeah.
Just because something that Nikki and I get to see being in town and hosting all the events that we do and being out at the bars and doing all that stuff. There are more and more people every fucking day coming down from Canada.
Yeah.
And there are artists that are having songs on American radio. Like your folks that have been big in Canada for a while are starting to get American attention. Like
That's right,
like,
man.
Like
Yeah.
You're seeing Josh Ross do what he's doing.
Josh is killing it.
You see Meg Patrick doing what she's doing. You see Jade Eagleson. You see the James Barker boys.
Yeah.
And James has been doing it for a long time. And you shout him out in one of your songs, right? Like, is that when you say a JB song? Is that a James Barker song?
it's you can take it how you want. That song is I'm singing about Justin Bieber.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. Yeah, because my girlfriend Liv is like the biggest Bieber fan, ever.
Oh yeah, and Bieber's from fucking Canada.
He's from Stratford, which is like an hour from where I live.
So was, oh shit. Okay, now we got a whole nother thing
This
to
is
talk about.
groundbreaking. But I mean, I listen to JB all the time, James Barker. So I feel like it can be about James Barker as
Yeah,
well.
because I was thinking JB, like thinking just country artists that you like, they're like country bands, but I didn't realize like so Bieber's probably still like the shit in Canada, huh?
Yeah, I
Even though
mean,
he's a Canadian
to
guy?
live, yes, he's never not been the shit. She loves Justin Bieber.
See, I remember when he was like in America, when he was still, well, he still is in America, but like when he was like really being a degenerate, like
Yeah,
fully on his degenerate shit,
yeah.
there was a petition to get him deported to
I
Canada.
think I remember that.
Yeah,
That's
there
so
was like
funny.
a whole movement.
Now he's just chilling. I feel like I don't know what he's up to. He's just
Just Bieber.
hopefully he's still writing songs and hopefully he puts more music out. I'm a fan of Bieber too, man. Bieber's great.
Yeah, are you just saying that because of the fiance, or you?
No,
or you genuinely
seriously,
like the music?
I mean, yeah, there's some songs that I love. Yeah, I think he's great, and it's sick that he's from Canada too.
Yeah,
I love
repping.
that.
Like, cause who? So if you're like Mount Rushmore of like Canadian music, like artists, who would have? So you got like Bieber. I mean, like Shania
Yeah.
Twain. I know is big Canada.
Shania Twain. For me, like
Would Nickelback be on there?
Nickelback. I grew up listening to Nickelback all the time. But like even more recent guys like Jade, like I'm friends with him. But before I was friends with him, I looked up to him and thought he was, just like a superstar, and he is, and he's great. And guys like Coulter Wall are from Canada. Like,
Oh yeah.
Coulter Wall is crazy.
Where in Canada is he from?
I believe it's Saskatchewan. So I think he's just out there on a ranch. Like he's like a rancher. I don't think he really leaves there. I don't know. I don't really know if he's touring or anything, but he's just such a badass. I listen to a lot of the Joe Rogan podcast, and I've heard him say so many times he wants to get him out on the podcast, but he's like, you got to come to the ranch, man.
You got to fly Rogan to Saskatchewan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, there's so much great talent in Canada, and it's cool that guys like Josh are letting that light shine down here in Nashville and in the States in country music. I think that's so cool, and it's inspiring, and it's great, coming up in this time, I feel like,
Yeah. I was told by Josh's band to ask you about the CCMAs.
Yeah, man, we had fun.
Y'all had a good night?
We had some good times, yeah.
What are the CCMAs like? Because we just had the CMAs here in
Yeah.
Nashville. I'm guessing it's like a similar kind of thing, just like a big reunion of everybody.
100%. It feels very similar. I went to the awards actually this week for the CMAs, and it feels like that, except for just smaller. Like everything's just a little more tight knit, a little smaller. The awards, they're televised. It's a big deal in Canada. Like they're a thing. But just smaller. And it's like the same thing. Every label has a party or a brunch, and every agency is throwing parties, and you just basically go around and you just drink and eat and shoot the shit with people and, reflect on the year and talk about what you're working on. And it's just such a cool time. I love the CCMA awards.
So the CCMAs were wild this year.
They were, yeah. They're always wild. It's hard not to drink a lot. And it makes you not want to drink for the weeks after, but yeah, it's such a grind getting through those weeks because it's like 4 days long of just talking, drinking, and then you have to do showcases and play, and like you're up at like 8 to do a brunch and sing. It's impossible to get through, but it's so much fun.
Yeah, it's like I did 4 days downtown this week.
How was that?
I haven't fucking done. I mean, I used to do 7 days a week downtown when I first fucking moved here because I was bouncing and
Right.
Broadway was
Yep.
what I knew.
You were hosting the Sony party downtown.
I was hosting the Sony.
How'd that all
party.
go?
It went really well, dude.
Yeah?
It went really well. They seemed to be happy. I think because my mom was there and she flew down from New York and was all excited for it, and her and her
That's awesome.
friend Kathleen, and she was like, "I'm proud of you. You only said fuck like twice." And I was like, because my thing at Live Oak, because I said like, "What the fuck is up, Live Oak?" That's part of our thing.
Yeah.
It's a little rough around the edges.
You're raised
you know?
rowdy, man.
Yeah, we're raised rowdy.
Yeah.
We're that group of guys that you see us come in the bar and you're like, fuck yeah, the boys are here. Like it's a fun thing, even though I don't
Yes,
drink.
sir.
So it went really well, and it was cool having folks that I've known forever, like Dylan Marlowe and Ella Langley,
Yeah, so
and,
cool.
and those guys that are now signed over at Sony, like to be a part of an event with them. It was really cool. But just 4 nights downtown on Broadway was it was a lot.
It's serious.
Yeah, because I did. And did you hit a lot of the bars on this trip while you were?
No,
Because I feel like now it's like business trips, right?
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, the last several trips, I haven't really gone out to Broadway. I mean, I went to Midtown and Red Door and stuff the odd time just to chat with some songwriter friends and stuff. But I'm not I'm not going down there to get wasted anymore. That's for sure. I kind of try to stick away from Broadway a little bit because it's chaotic.
Yeah, it does. You have your guys. Like I'll see, but like when I was down there on Monday, we went to actually Josh did a showcase thing at Old Smoky, like a little thing. So we went from that to Broadway, and my girlfriend had some friends visiting, and she said that they were at Kid Rock's. I'm like, oh fuck, it's way too early. It's way too early to be at Kid Rock's.
Yeah.
If you come to Nashville, love the Uncle Bob and love the establishment, but you gotta be at least like going towards, like if this is sober, you gotta be like here getting towards blackout, because Kid Rock's just so fucking loud.
It's like one of the best bars down here.
It's one of the best bars. Yeah, it is. But to me, to experience it right, you gotta be warmed up.
Yeah.
To fully
for sure.
enjoy Kid Rock's Big Ass Honky Tonk.
100%. I mean, and it's not hard to get warmed up down on Broadway. Like you can get warmed up pretty damn quick.
Yeah.
If you start at the top of the hill and start working your way down there, by the time you get there, you're probably good to go.
Yeah, like I love Robert's Western World.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Roberts is cool, especially.
Is that the one with the they have
the fried
bologna sandwiches and chips or something?
The recession special.
Yeah.
$6. Fried bologna sandwich, bag of chips, a moon pie, and a PBR for $6.
That's amazing. I've heard from so many people that go there and get that. I haven't done it yet, but
yeah,
that's gonna have to happen this week.
Yeah, I'll get the recession special, and I'll just give my beer to Nikki T. Like
that's amazing.
Whenever we go to shows at the arena or like Preds games and stuff, we pregame. That's the bar that we go to pregame at, because they sell Busch and Miller High Life and stuff for like $2.50. Like
amazing.
You get a can of Busch Light for $2.50.
That's great.
Go a couple doors down, it's like $8. You know, so
Crazy.
it's like,
and then you get into the arena, and it's like crazy, $20 or something.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's fucking nuts. Which of the two Canadian shows is more accurate, Letterkenny or Trailer Park Boys? Do they both kind of depict what they're trying to depict really well?
Yeah, they're both hilarious. I would say it's hard to say, but I mean, Trailer Park Boys is based out on the East Coast, and I'm not too familiar with what happens out there, but I grew up watching Trailer Park Boys. I think it's hilarious. And Letterkenny is Jarrett Kiso, who's from like Listowel, Ontario, which is like 20 minutes from where I'm from. So I feel like Letterkenny's like where I'm from for sure.
So you know all about the D-gens from up country, and
yes,
you know about the first episode when it's like the toughest man in Letterkenny, and like Squirrely Dan and Deary throwing him the birthday party and everything.
Letterkenny's very accurate.
The skids, like the skids, the youth pastor.
Yeah, they didn't just make that shit up. Like that's coming from somewhere. So yeah, that's definitely accurate.
That was my show when I first moved down here. Me and my buddies because I lived with a group of guys that we all bounced together, and we'd get home and I'd smoke and watch Letterkenny with the boys.
Yeah.
We'd be up to like 4 a.m. just fucking watching.
It's so hard to turn it off,
asses
man.
off, dude.
So hard to turn it off. That show is brilliant. I think it might be coming to an end. I think they're releasing their last season right now, and that's it, maybe.
Yeah, and
have you seen Shoresy though?
I haven't seen Shoresy.
Shoresy's funny.
I hear it's awesome, and those guys were in Jonesy, Riley and Jonesy were in Nashville one time.
Were they?
My buddy took a selfie with him and sent it in our group chat. He was bouncing. He was like, "Oh fuck, that's Riley and Jonesy."
That's hilarious.
And they were just bar hopping on Broadway.
They seem like beauties. I hope they're like their characters.
What is beauty? You got to tell me some of the
beauties.
Some Canadian lingo. So like, what's a beauty? You just said these two dudes are beauties.
I feel like that's sort of a hockey term.
Yeah.
At least that's kind of where it came from for me. It just means it means like, you know, they're badass.
So like top shelf.
They're good shit.
Yeah,
they're good shit.
Good shit.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So that's the rowdy way
you
of
get
saying
good shit. All
beauties means good shit.
Yeah.
What are some other like Canadian like?
That's tough.
Because I know
there's
you guys.
So many. There has to be so many, but it's gonna be hard for me to come up with it on the fly. I feel like.
Like stuff that, like you said, like hockey culture stuff. Like there's like I remember one of the Letterkenny things like pitter patter. Let's get at her.
Yeah.
A tilly.
Yeah.
Like a tilly's like a hockey fight.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Like I feel like there's just like
so many goofy Canadian ways of saying things, and I say them so often, and I catch myself all the time. One that I actually have. This isn't really goofy, but I've noticed. As a Canadian, I say tour. Like I'm going on tour.
Yeah.
Is it tour or is it tour?
I say tour.
Yeah.
I say tour, but I'm from New York. I speak different than a lot of other people.
But I feel like everybody says tour. And I feel weird now saying tour, but I think...
I've heard people say that, though. I've heard a lot of people say tour.
Tour. That's so Canadian.
Yeah, have you made a lot of friends with like locals, like different songwriters that are like American born, or
I've
have you
made
kind
a
of
few, yeah. I mean, the thing is, when I'm coming down here, I'm not like going to the bars that often and meeting people. I'm just here. Like I have stuff booked. I'm going to I'm basically just in the studio because I do all my recording down here. But I mean, Schmitty, you know Schmitty?
Yes.
Yeah. So he was one of the first people that I met from down here, and he's such a great guy, and he's always invited me in, and we've written so many great songs
Pick
together.
up where we left off. I love
Such
me
a
some
banger.
fucking
Such a
Schmitty,
banger.
dude.
He's such a good writer.
Yeah, and he's such a good fucking dude.
Such a nice guy. Such a good dude. And we always try to get together when I come down, but I mean, he's a busy guy. I'm a busy guy, so it's hard to make it work. But his whole crew that he rolls around with, they're all great guys.
Yeah, so that's like SJ McDonald, and
Yes.
so SJ was one of my first friends that I met when I moved down here, because when I was bouncing on Broadway, she was like 19, gigging at the stage a few doors down, and she would play the Friday gig, and I'd go over and we'd get her into the get her into the bars sometimes, but also just like keep an eye, like if being a younger female, if somebody was fucking with her or whatever, like she had all.
I don't
she
think
was
I've met
friends with all the
SJ, but I've definitely
Trent Wayne, Matt
Yeah,
Mulcair,
Trent Wayne. Yep.
Mitch Kriego, like
Yep.
Noah Hudson, like
Yep.
Mia Mantia, that whole
Yes,
crew.
sir.
They call themselves the Boys and Girls Club. So we'll put them on a round sometimes. I think we've actually only done it once. And the time slot will say the Boys and Girls Club, and people will be messaging me like, "Are you doing like a charity thing? Like, what the fuck's going on?"
That's
And like,
hilarious.
y'all just come out and see. And then we get like 4 or 5 of them on stage at one time, and then
Yeah.
we rotate them, and they just take up the whole hour because they all co-write with each other.
Yeah,
So
man.
it's just all them just playing along and like it's like 4 or 5 part harmonies on all the songs.
so talented, so good. Yeah, they're great writers. They're fun too. They're good shit.
They're good people. Yeah, they're beauties.
They're beauties.
They're
There you
beauties.
go,
I'm
man.
getting it. I'm
Start
fucking learning.
saying it. Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm gonna say it to Nikki because we have like we say, like, one of our things was premium, and then the premium thing got so far. My girlfriend hated me for we say it so much because like when you make things a bit, you have to go all in.
Yeah.
It's like we have a hat that says premium that we did as a collab hat with Crown Head Cigars guys. My reason for asking about you knowing different folks from like down here, something that Southerners. There's certain Southern dialects drive me up a fucking wall, dude. And one of the things that they'll say is they'll go, "Do what?" Like I'll come up to you and be like, "Hey man, what's your name?" And the guy will be like, "Do what?" Like what did, like, instead of just saying, "Hey, what'd you say, man?"
I haven't
Or,
heard
like,
that one yet.
They say, "Do what?"
Yeah, that's weird.
Literally, like,
So weird.
Like you could be asking, "Hey man, what way is the nearest gas station?" I'll do what? It's just do what after.
I would be
everything.
like, what?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means,
Bro,
but
it's they say do what? They say piddling around. They say y'all, and which I say y'all too. It just comes in. I think being in country music, you just naturally.
yeah, and the people you hang out with, it's hard to not pick up on some of that stuff.
Yeah, I've only worked with guys from Alabama and
Right.
Nikki T. Nikki
Yeah.
T luckily is from Pittsburgh, which is closer to where I'm from, but I was in the van with a bunch of dudes from Alabama,
Yeah.
like talking straight that,
just kinda
that
pick up
deep
on it.
Southern drawl. So what have you got going on the rest of, so the shows are done for the year, or do you got anything to close out this year?
Yeah, so I'm here for the rest of the week. I fly back Friday, and then I start sort of a weekend run thing with Robin Onalini.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, so we're going.
Love Robin.
She's great.
Yeah.
Such good shit. We actually share management, and we're doing a little tour across Ontario. So we're doing like 6 or 7 shows, I believe. So that finishes out November for me. December's off, and then when does this come out?
This comes out this Friday.
This Friday?
Yeah, I recorded and we turn them around quick.
Sick. All right, then I won't say what I was going to say because I think it's getting announced the week after that. But I'm going on another tour beginning of next.
In Canada.
Beginning of next year with a bigger American artist that I'm very excited about.
Dude, that's fucking
Yeah,
killer.
man.
You have to tell me off the mic.
Yeah.
We'll keep it secret, bro. But what are some goals you got for next year? So this 2023 was, like you said, your biggest year to date. I mean,
Crazy. Yeah.
You get engaged, like big life stuff. You get engaged.
100%.
The possibility of now you're talking about like, I'm gonna get down here. We're figuring it out.
Yep.
Like life is 2023, great fucking year. And then career wise, best year so far. And it's only,
100%.
I think personally, I'm not just saying that because you're wearing that premium raised Rowdy hat right there, looking like a beauty.
Yes, sir.
Since that, and you're one of the homies, but like, it just seems like I had some friends that I brought out to Whiskey Jam the other night.
Yep.
And they were like, dude, thank you, but also fuck you. I can't stop listening to this Owen Riegling kid.
Wow.
Like
That's
they're
so
like
cool.
they're like, I can't stop listening. It's just so good. Like it's just stuck in their heads, you know,
So
which is
cool,
great.
man.
Like,
Well, thank you for being there. I appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, like Sweater Song is like
Yeah,
stuck in even
yeah.
stuff that you didn't even play that night. Just going through Spotify, like stuff just they just love it. But what are some goals for you for next year? You got sounds like a big tour to
got
kick off
lots.
the year. Lots of music.
Yeah, so we're playing a lot of festivals up in Canada. We're going on the tour. We have, goals as far as things that haven't been confirmed yet that I would love to happen is, one, get down here for, move down here at least for half the year. I'd love to be down here for that. And just release a bunch of music. We've released 3 singles since I signed this deal. So it's like very early days.
And which 3 are those? Because I'm gonna.
So we got Love, the Sweater Song.
Dude, I love. I
Weekend
love.
You.
It's called Love. Weekend You, bro. That to me is like that's gonna get to where Old Dirt Roads is because that song.
Thank you, man.
It's at 135,000 streams right now, but that's the one where it sticks in your head, and every guy has had that experience with a girl because. Life gets busy, and you have that girl you see on the weekend, whether that's distance or just life.
Yep.
That song's so fucking label.
Thank you, man.
Weekend You,
and
Love.
Old Dirt Roads. Those are the 3 we've released so far. And then the other 2 that I have up are just ones that I had recorded on my own and put out like years ago prior to
2019.
Yes, sir.
Smoke Man.
Yes, sir. So I went to school at OEArt, which is an audio school in London, Ontario, and I learned how to record, produce.
Oh, so you could be a track guy.
Yeah.
So you're a track guy.
I can be. I
Like, do you like how often are you messing around with like Pro Tools?
I used to do it all the time, but
stuff?
a little less now because I'm just doing other stuff. But I have Pro Tools and a little setup at home, and I just make all my own demos. And
Dude, that's such a weapon.
yeah, man.
That is so. You don't know how big that is. Where there's so many guys and girls that have to outsource that because they don't know how to. I mean, for you, if you're outsourcing, it's because you got shit going on. But like to have those skills. And then when you're in the studio, you're probably listening as a producer yourself with whatever guy.
Before I did this artist thing, I wanted to be a producer. And I went to school for audio. I was going out and applying for all these internships in Toronto at big studios the year after I graduated. And then literally like a month into applying, COVID hit and all the studios shut down and they weren't taking internships or nothing. So I was like, all right, I'm going to start writing songs more than I was and start like putting shit out. And that song Smoke Man was my school project at OER, 3rd semester school project, and that's kind of the first song I released. And I actually put out an EP that I made in my bedroom during COVID that's gotten taken down now because it's not up to what we wanted it to sound like basically, but there's a lot of songs on that I really love that hopefully come back out someday. And yeah, that was sort of my goal, living where I lived. I didn't know any producers. I always loved messing around in GarageBand and Logic, and always had a draw. Like I was drawn to audio and how that works. Like how do you make a song? So that was a big interest for me growing up. And I went to school, got that figured out, and I wanted to be a producer. It was nice because I didn't know anybody else, and I didn't want to pay somebody so much money if I can just, make it happen myself.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I
DIY.
learned, exactly. So hopefully someday down the road there's an album where, I just produce the whole thing too. I think that's something that's a goal for me someday. Not anytime soon because I love the producer I'm working with, Brad Hill here in Nashville. He's amazing.
That's a good guy to be working with.
Yeah, he's so good. He's such a talented guy and has all the connections with, great musicians, and just to be in a room, like it's like magic watching these guys work.
How cool is it for you? You're probably geeking out at times with just this being in a Nashville studio setting. And your goal was to be behind the board doing audio, and now it's your voice. But the blessings, there's the hidden blessings of that shit show that was 2020.
Exactly.
COVID.
Yeah, because if it didn't happen and if I got an internship, I probably would have been in a studio all day and had no time to focus more on the music thing for myself. You would have been like there's guys like the guy Josh is working with, Matt Giroux. Like there's tons of Canadian, or Joey Moy, like there's tons of Canadian producers that work on the worldwide scale. That's right, man.
And there's an
that was
avenue
my
for
goal.
that.
Yeah, that was my goal, and hopefully someday I can get back and take on projects and like actually dive into the production thing, because it's such a one of my favorite things to do is be in the studio and create something that wasn't created like an hour ago. There's nothing better than that. So Yeah, that's definitely a goal of mine someday.
I love that Smoke Man has almost 150,000 streams, and it was a fucking college project.
Yeah.
Like, that's a college project,
Yeah.
and like, there's that many people on Spotify alone that have listened to the thing.
Yeah, man.
It's pretty freaking cool.
It's crazy. That song, actually, I won my graduation award for like the production award. They gave away like an award for production. There was like live sound award and whatever, and that won the award. I was like, sick, man. That's great.
That is fun, cool, and
Yeah.
and a part of me, one that's been out for a while too. That's one, like, we talk about songs that describe growing up in a small town in Canada.
Yeah.
That's literally what. Like that, I was listening to that on the way. I've been listening to your shit a lot here lately, but especially like today when I was driving over here.
Yep.
And a part of me came on. I'm like, this makes me think of where I'm from, Rockland County, New York. Outside of
man.
this town's a part of me.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
like, it's relatable shit.
It's a song about my hometown and the people in it, and that's all it is. And yeah, I say this all the time, but there's no way I would have kept writing and playing my shitty songs in front of people if there wasn't people there to support me and like, you know, find the good in the things I was doing and just like give me the confidence to want to keep doing it. And everybody, literally like everybody that is from my small town and surrounding towns is just so supportive. Like, they're like pushing me. They just want me to succeed. So they're like, without that being a part of who I am, I don't think I would be here in Nashville recording songs and about to put out a record. So I owe a lot to my hometown, and I love the people from it.
When's the record coming?
Oh, it's coming. It's definitely coming next year. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a date, but it's we're cutting 5 more songs this week. We have them tracked. I got to cut vocals, and then we're done. We have probably like 4 or 5 in the bag already, like mastered and ready to go.
Wow.
We got a lot of songs. We're just finding like how we're gonna roll them out and what it looks like. I think the plan is hopefully get a smaller project out in the spring, and then keep doing some singles, and hopefully have a full length thing end of next year. I'll say, yeah, that's the penciled in plan.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I'm so excited, dude.
Yeah.
You're making me want to get to Canada next summer for one of these festivals or to
come
get
up.
on one of these tours. I have a passport, but I've never fucking used it. Like, I have a passport. I think Nicky's got to renew his. He's actually been out of the country. I've never been out of the country, so it'd be really cool to do that.
I would love to have you up sometime, man.
Bro, it'd be so cool.
Let's do like a raised Rowdy event somewhere.
When we go out of town, we call it Rowdy on the Road.
That's
like our thing,
hilarious.
Rowdy on the Road, and then I do a bit. It's called "Tried That in a Small Town." I don't know if you've seen him on Instagram or not.
I don't know if I have.
So I go to small towns, and since I'm from New York, it's a play on the Aldean song, the controversial Aldean song, and it's, hey, welcome back to "Tried That in a Small Town." I'm Matt Burrill, and it's me eating at like a little barbecue joint,
Oh, that's
like
so good.
I mean, there's like a little hole in the wall.
You
in
got to
some
come to
little town.
Mildmay. If you're doing Rowdy on the Road, like come up to Canada, come to my hometown of Mildmay. There's a bar called Harley's. I was talking about it earlier.
Oh, that sounds so that sounds so on brand.
It's literally
for
a
us.
corner bar, and the biggest honor of my career so far is I have a sandwich on the menu there.
You have, bro, a menu item. That's a big fucking
Yes,
deal.
sir.
Like, fuck all the awards.
Yes,
You got a
sir.
menu item?
I do.
What's the what is it the Owen?
It's called the corner bar.
The corner bar?
in a part of me, there's a line that goes something about a corner bar on the corner, or a bar on the corner of Maine. I forget the lyric. I should know the lyrics to my own song, but
It was a while ago.
it was a while ago. Yeah. So I haven't tried it yet. I mean, Nick, the owner, just texted me and was like, "Hey, we're gonna put a sandwich on the menu for you," and I was like, "Sick."
Do you know what's in it?
I don't even know what's
Oh, you
in
don't even
it.
know what's in it?
No, I'm gonna. I think there's a sandwich called the Dream Witch on the menu. That's like the best. You have to try that too. And there was like their sandwiches are just like the employees and stuff will just make something and call it something.
Fuck yeah.
And that one was like whoever made it had a dream and woke up the next day and was like, "We're making this sandwich," and it's like garlic bread as the bun,
Yeah.
and then cheese, bacon, and like a grilled chicken smothered in like teriyaki sauce. It's so good.
Dude,
It's so good.
Sounds really
So
good.
try that in a small town. Come up to Mildmay, go to Harley's.
Yes, bro. I'm so fucking down. Then you're going to New York, you said, in like the next week?
Yeah, I don't know if we can say anything about that.
But I'm just, have you been to New York before?
Never been in New York.
Okay.
Never been in New
All
York.
right. So you were just talking about.
I have a whole day in New York to do something. I'm getting there. My flight's like 7 a.m. tomorrow, and I'm going to get there like 8:30. So I have
Where are
nothing
you?
to do until like 6 p.m.
What airport are you flying into? And Godspeed. 'cause-
LaGuardia.
Flying to LaGuardia. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and where's the event? Where's the thing that you're going to do?
Downtown in New York.
Okay, so New York's interesting. So it's like the city of all cities. There's 9.5 million people on like a 13-mile stretch, 14-mile stretch. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I grew up in the suburbs outside of it, but I spent a lot of time going in there.
Yep.
So there, if you're a big sandwich guy, if you get a chance, there's a place called Cat's Deli.
Okay, let me just write this down.
Cat's Deli. And I'll text you all this shit.
Yeah,
too.
text me
So
what I should
Cat's Deli, it's like they filmed like Seinfeld episodes in there.
Oh,
a bunch
sweet.
Of shit. So it is like an old school Jewish deli, bro. The fucking sandwich, it's an expensive sandwich because fucking New York, everything is stupid expensive. You're
Okay.
Canadian though, you know shit gets expensive up in Canada too right now.
Yeah,
It's been
yeah.
expensive lately.
do. Yep.
The sandwich, it's like a pastrami sandwich, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the size of bigger than your head. It's stupid. Stupid.
Let's go. I'm
that
getting
place
that
is
tomorrow.
good. And then
is that right downtown in New York?
that is on Houston Street. So it's in like New York's in a bunch of different little sections. So we'll map this out after the podcast.
All right.
We'll map out
Yeah,
yourself.
text me.
And then there's John's on Bleecker. And then there's
Heard of that.
John's on Bleecker Street. Fantastic. Got a high score on Dave Portnoy's.
Okay,
pizza
that's where I've
reviews.
heard of that because I've
Yeah.
watched like all of those one bite reviews.
Yeah, all those one bite reviews. That's a really good one. And then
What did you give it for a score? You know?
I think it was like a 9 something.
Oh,
I mean,
shit.
John's on Bleeker's great. John's
gotta
on
try
Bleeker's
that.
great. And then I think it's Joey's. I forget Joe. Like I should know the name, the full name of it. But there's so many. You have every culture in the fucking world, whether it's African culture, Middle Eastern, Asian, South American. You have
Man.
every French.
The food is
Italian.
good, is what you're saying,
Every culture in the world is represented in this city.
in the best way possible.
Or the world, however you look at it, like in the best way possible.
like, the food is
wise-
probably just amazing, right?
Bro, yeah, dude. I mean, you can go into like the hood and you can get like chicken and waffles or like the best fucking chicken.
Yeah.
Gotta be careful going to there. You go to the Wo Hop. It's a Chinese place.
Yeah.
But it's like in a basement, like underneath. So it's like a big apartment building.
You got to
and it's-
knock like 3 times to get
It's
in
like,
or
it's, like a,
something.
it's like a little dungeon, bro. And it's the Wo Hop, and it's some of the best fucking Chinese. It's
Shit.
There's a
All right,
lot of
just
stuff
send me
to
a
do.
text of like your
Places
favorite
to go.
spots, and
Yeah.
I'll map it out, and I'll just hit them all.
yeah. And then are you there tomorrow night too?
Yep.
If you don't have night, are you going solo or you got people meeting you there? Or you got your
My
team with
manager's
you?
meeting me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And that's Eric?
Mark's coming with
Mark's
me.
coming with you.
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you like comedy?
I love comedy.
Okay, so what you and Mark should do tomorrow night is you guys should go to the Comedy Cellar.
Okay.
So the
Yeah,
Comedy Cellar,
I've heard of it. I listen to a lot of comedy.
legendary spot, and you could probably get tickets. You could get them ahead of time, or you should be able to get them on a Monday, where they do shows every night. You never know who the fuck's gonna pop in there. So like Shane Gillis was there when I
No
went
way.
out there with my girlfriend, and
Just popped in like he just did a spot.
he popped in and he did a good-
Unannounced?
yeah, and he did like a 10-15 minute set,
That's
and it was all stuff that was used in his special that's on Netflix now.
That's crazy.
Like you never
That's
know, like
crazy.
like a Louis C.K. could pop in there, a Bill Burr could pop in there,
Yeah.
like any comedian could just pop in,
Wow.
and it's cool, and there's tons of restaurants like around it. I'm excited to hear about your experience in New York City.
What's it
'cause
like
it's-
traffic wise? Like when I land, like how long is it going to take me to Uber from LaGuardia to downtown? Is it going to be?
Depends.
Because like I
Depends.
feel like it's crazy there.
not
Like, maybe I should
far.
just get on a bike or
I
something.
mean, and then I'm guessing you're like Airbnb-ing it, or you're like
I'm in a hotel like near the airport.
Oh, near LaGuardia. So
Yeah.
let's pull out my Google Maps machine here real quick. So LaGuardia, they just redid it. So LaGuardia used to be a really shitty airport. It was
It's
built,
so nice now.
Yeah, it was built in World War II, and now it's fucking.
I had a
it's-
layover
it's-
there one time.
It's mint, as
It's
you would say in
mint.
Canada.
It's
mint.
beauty. It's
a
mint.
beauty. It's a beauty. It's a mint. It's a mint beauty.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're out in Queens. So you want to get to probably like 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad.
Maybe 40 minutes.
All
We'll try.
right.
It's
I gotta
traffic.
plan this in accordance to like the one bite thinks when he says a 9. Like, is there gonna be a line around the block, or is it
No,
kind of
because there's a million.
done?
Do you have the One Bite app on your phone?
I did at one time. I think I still do.
Okay, if you have that, you'll be able to
track it down.
GPS.
I'll just fill up on
and
pizza.
also and also there's the dollar slice places on most of the corners in the city.
Yeah.
There's little like bodegas that are like dollar slices. And those slices are like still some of the best in the country. And it's like you can get 2 slices and a Coke for like
I cannot wait.
$4. Yeah, dude.
Cannot wait.
I'm excited for you because to be from like small town to go to New York City, dude.
Never
it's-
been either, so it's gonna be eye opening.
Where's
sure.
your favorite place that you've gotten to tour? And I know I've never been to Canada, so I won't be able to.
It's hard to say. The last run, it was crazy. I mean, Montreal is a city that is great. The fans there, like, there's a bit of a language barrier when I'm trying to, like, a lot of my show is I set songs up with stories, and like part of my show is just the stories, so that was a little bit challenging. But like, if you have any sort of chanty moments in your show or anything like that, they love to chant there.
Whoa,
Whoa. Exactly. So they loved that. And like by the end of our set in Montreal, like it was so electric. People were like banging on the walls, and people are yelling shit, and beers flying in the air, and they're just partying. And then Tyler gets up there, first song, there's two girls fighting in the second row.
Oh, geez.
Throwing fists. And then the whole crowd's going, ole, 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 ole. The whole thing for like a minute long. And Tyler's just up there like, what is happening?
What do I do?
Yeah. So they were partying. That was so fun. And then I had basically a hometown show in Kitchener, which is like an hour and a half from where I live. And like, it was just all like people who were there, fans and family and friends. And it was so much fun. So between those two, I would say.
Fuck yeah. That's a good little listener there. Where's like your dream place to play?
Oh, like, how are we like going big here? Or is this just like
one that you think you can get to by the end of next year, and then one that's like, I want to see my name on that sign.
One I want to see my name on that sign, which I feel like is the same for a lot of artists, is like a place like Red Rocks. I mean, that would be insane. The first time I ever really knew what Red Rocks was Eric Church's live album that he did there.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with that. And then obviously the Zach Bryan one now. And there's just so many cool artists that come through there. I feel like that's a legendary spot. The Grand Ole Opry's one as well, just to get to play that stage.
That
someday.
I think could happen sooner than later.
That would be
honestly
wild.
With the way things are going right now, dude. I mean, I can't wait till you come to the States and you're fucking touring, and we can talk about the different clubs, because the circuit you're gonna be on. And when your first runs through the States are the circuits that I know from touring on the tour manager side of things.
I cannot wait, man.
Like, I've had some hellacious load-ins, and I've had some great load-ins. I've had some load-ins, which you got a little spoiled on the Tyler's. That was a lot of like theaters, right?
It was mostly clubs. Actually, it was all clubs except for one theater in Winnipeg, and that was a beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah,
theater.
which theater shows are cool too.
Yeah, the production's great. Like, the clubs are a bit dicey at times with load-ins and load-outs. The one we went to, we could load in through the back door. It was great because the stage is right there. You load everything in, but you couldn't load out through the back door. You had to load out through the front doors.
Through the crowd.
Yeah.
And is it one of those places that as soon as the show's over, it switches to a DJ?
Nope.
Okay,
Nope.
so
But like,
we have
the
a lot of
lobby
those.
is full of people still. People are at merch. People are fucking around, whatever. You had to load everything out through the front door, which was hilarious because then you have to walk all the way back around the venue into the van. But I think it's because like noise complaints or whatever. There's like apartments behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some dicey things for sure.
Yeah, you'll see all kinds of. What's on your rider right now?
We got veggie tray, fruit tray, case.
You're so fucking wholesome, dude.
Yeah, man.
Fucking veggie tray.
We don't have much. Like, case of Bud Light, case of. We like to get one thing that's a little bougie that I do is everywhere we go, I like to say just some domestic, like, or it's not domestic, like local craft brew, like the best craft brew that's around. Like, just I want to try all different beers from different breweries and stuff. So that's something that we do. Other than that, just, some Cliff Bars, a couple snacks, chips. That's it.
That's not a bad rider, dude. Well,
Yeah.
brother, I appreciate you coming on this thing. I'm excited to have you at Live Oak tonight. Are you a cigar guy at all? Do you enjoy cigars?
Oh, yeah. I like cigars.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
well, if you have nothing to do, we can have a cigar.
Let's go.
After this, because we're sponsored by a cigar company.
Let's go.
So we have boxes. We have cigars.
Let's have a cigar.
We'll do that
Yeah.
because you have time to kill. So
I do.
We do as well. Well, brother, where can people go to find you on all the socials and stuff?
Find me at Owen Riegling Music on Instagram. Rigling's Riegling.
So it's Riegling, not Riegling.
It's Riegling.
Riegling. I've been saying it wrong though.
It's all good, man. It's like a truck, and then ling, like
Anything.
anything, like ring, like ring-a-ling, It's like
Riegling.
Riesling, like the wine, but with a G.
Riegling.
Yes.
That's what I love about you Canadian folks. You guys are so fucking nice. Like, I've been saying your name wrong for so long. It's
How have you been
Riegling.
saying it?
I've been saying Riegling.
Riegling?
Riegling.
I get that all the time. That feels like It's all right.
It's
I don't
close
care.
enough.
It's
Okay,
close
yeah.
enough.
That's
I say Riegling, but if you say Riegling, it's all good, man.
okay.
Same shit.
Riegling. We'll figure it out.
Yes,
we're
sir.
We're gonna go have a fucking cigar. Y'all be sure to check out our boy Owen Riegling. He's got some great music out. If you're up in Canada, be on the lookout. News coming of another tour soon. Very soon. And if you're up in, or I guess you'll already be in New York City, but stay tuned for when we have him on in the future and we talk about his New York City excursion. Very excited to hear about all that shit. But y'all be sure to check out his music and stream the hell out of it like we do here at Raised Rowdy. Shout out, of course, to our friends, Big Friendly Productions, Saxman Studios, our boy Mitch Wallace with the Digital Marketing Agency, and the boys over at Whale Tail Media. We're going to go have a cigar for my boy Owen. I'm Matt Burrill. This has been Outside the Round.